Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
Listen, I've been rocking with Sky for 7, 6. So long story short, huge fan of Little Brother, the North Carolina-based duo, a trio. Fonte, Little Brother, Fonte, Big Pooh, and Ninth Wonder, who's the sole producer. After the success of Little Brother, he ended up doing threats for Jay-Z. He ended up doing something for Destiny's Child. He kind of like went and spiraled into making bigger records for bigger artists, right? But he's then did this 3-day, it's called a 3-day high with Skyzoo, a record they recorded in 3 days in North Carolina. They put it out. It's phenomenal. Please go listen to it. I bought this record at Virgin Megastore on Michigan Avenue, which is no longer there.
Virgin Megastore. Holy crap.
Virgin Megastore, which was a phenomenal shopping experience for music, because they actually had an import, a hip hop import section that would have like crazy imports of different artists. And so, anyways, so I picked up the 3-day high there just off the strength of Ninth Wonder, and that's how I found my man Skyzoo, and who I refer to as hip hop's Albert Pujols, who doesn't disappoint, consistently delivering great records, always either equaling or surpassing his previous effort, and he does it again on his latest All the Brilliant Things. Good evening, sir. Thanks for resetting and getting your lab stuff.
Man, absolutely. I'm glad I was able to do it. Dag, man, hip hop Albert Pujols. That's wild, man. I appreciate that. That's real.
I've mentioned this to you before when we met, but I'm pretty sure you talked to 1 million people in the last 3 years, so you can remember.
Nah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that.
So I'm going to start there because ironically, you guys kind of your trajectory and careers is kind of like intertwining a little bit. And I say that in the sense that Albert Pujols this year for all our non-baseball fans was released by the Los Angeles Angels and picked up by the Dodgers. A lot of people think that he's at the tail end of his career, that he's done. You yourself had flirted with the idea of hanging up your mic as well, but one Fonte Coleman conversation kind of derailed that idea. Tell us a little bit about, like, did you really think that you didn't have anything left in the tank?
No, it wasn't because I didn't have anything left in the tank. I just didn't like the way the game was. It had nothing to do with my actual skill set. Nothing at all. I knew I was like, man, my pen is still flying. I'm still writing verses in 20 minutes. Like it wasn't that at all. It was just being a little over the way the game is played, the way the industry moves. That's why when you hear the rhyme on Soft Eyes that you mentioned, when he was like, don't let these, I don't know if we can curse on your show.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When he was like, don't let these motherfuckers say when your time is gone. Like it was more so about the game and feeling like, yo, this industry is kind of whatever, man. I'm kind of over it, and that sentiment is something that will come from the industry making you feel a way, or the game making you feel a way, or just the way things are. So in a sense, that's them, the industry, telling you shouldn't be here no more. And that's when he was like, yo, don't let these motherfuckers say when your time is gone. Like you say when your time is gone, like, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So it wasn't about the tank. The tank is full, overflowing with gas.
I like that. And I think that, and I think that the way that you've navigated through the industry, pre-blog era, records were still moving. You move into the blog era, you still find an avenue to be successful, to move your records independently, and now to the streaming service, which now seems to be like we're to return to the gatekeepers with either playlist or selective choices from the DSPs who decide which records are going to be the first that you see when you open up Spotify, Apple, Tidal, etc.
It's just like the radio. Like that element is just like the radio. Heads was paying radio DJs to get on, and now they're paying playlist curators to get on. It's just like the radio.
And how infuriating is that for you, though? Like, is that like an example of you saying, like, I'm just tired of this shit, the way that the game is being used?
Yeah, I never played that radio game. I never played that radio game as far as giving people bread and all that. So I ain't playing it now with the playlist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Gabe brought. Oh, hold up, Gabe. My bad. My bad, bro.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead. I just wanted to say, because we brought up the blog era, and we talked to DJ RTC about this a little bit, about sort of the songs, the records from that era, even the articles written by writers from that era sort of disappearing off the internet. Is that a fear of yours? Are you noticing that as well? Are you talk to me a little bit about the archive of your music and whether or not that's for sure going to be there for forever.
As far as the actual music being on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with the internet, stuff lives forever, and that's any and everything. Stuff lives forever. So, your album could come out today. It's on YouTube today. Some user in Russia ripped it and put it on YouTube. You know what I mean? So, if it gets pulled from iTunes for whatever reason, it's still on YouTube. It's still on, it's still on all these other things. So it's all out there. You know what I mean? Like the music is all out there to live forever. And that's the point. And that's why when you make music or you make film or videos or anything creative, man, it lasts forever in this day and age. So you gotta walk into the room where you're creating, knowing, yo, I'm going in here to make this record, make this album, make this song, and it's gonna last forever. So if we just go in here and dick around and like that's gonna be out there forever. If we go and make something great, that's gonna be out there forever.
Yeah.
I was recently reading like an old Facebook message I had, and I was like, because I've been doing interviews for a decade. A lot of this stuff is out there still, either on SoundCloud, all over the internet somewhere. And I was wondering, I wonder if my kids will ever find any of this stuff and be interested.
Right.
Now that you're a father, you have a young child. Do you ever think that to yourself, man, they're gonna find this, and what
100%.
would they think about it?
100%. Yeah, he'll be on YouTube. He's on YouTube now. He's just not looking for me, but he's looking for Daniel Tiger and ABC Mouse and all that stuff. But he'll be on YouTube, and he's 3 now, so he'll be on YouTube in 10 years. Searching me for sure. That's the way it goes. Or his friends or his friends' parents will be like, "Yo, your friend's dad is Skyzoo," that thing will happen. So yeah, I already know. He'll be looking up my stuff and listening to my stuff and probably critiquing it or whatever. So yeah, totally.
He's gonna be he's gonna start breaking down your bars, right. This you could have came tired like that.
Dad. Yeah, that's old school stuff. It's good. That old school stuff is good. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
One of the things I love about your album covers, because of the choice and artistry that you use, are just fantastic. They're art pieces in themselves. And so with this latest record, it's you or someone that's pointing up to, it looks like almost like a complex or like a form of gentrification, that's happening. Is that kind of and I hear you talk about that a little bit in the record. Is that kind of what we're being presented with on this record? So just
the whole album's about that. The whole album is about gentrification. A to Z. Every single song, it's about gentrification and cultural appropriation. The cover art is my son and I standing there. So that's me standing there pointing up, and that's my son, and I'm holding his hand and I'm showing him, look at what they're doing, look at what's happening. You see that? Look at that. And I'm teaching him and telling him the story. And then you see the street sign in the corner that says Fulton and Franklin. One day I was back home in Brooklyn. I was actually working on this album. It was February 2020. And I was working on this album, going to the studio, and I'm walking through the sty. And I've walked down that particular block a billion times in my life. And I'm walking down it, and for whatever reason, I just stopped. And I noticed this high-rise condo being built where there used to be a supermarket. And I pulled out my phone and just took a picture of it. It infuriated me, and something said, just take a picture of that. I took a picture of the building itself with my phone and went to the studio. A month later, I get back home to Atlanta because, I live in Atlanta now. And I said, man, that's the cover. That picture is the album cover. But I want it to be Miles and I, my son. I want it to be Miles and I in front of it with me showing him what's up and pointing at it. So the plan was for us to fly back to New York for a weekend and do a photo shoot in front of construction being built. And COVID hit. So it was literally the middle of March when we was gonna go, and that's when COVID really kicked in the overdrive. So no one was going anywhere, no one could do anything. So I'm sitting at home like, damn, how do I pull off this cover? I gotta make this cover happen. And my photographer that I use for everything in New York, he talked about taking a picture and then having somebody down here take a picture and merging the two together, just trying to come up with ideas to make it right. And something just hit me and said, yo, get it illustrated, get it painted, get it drawn. And I reached out. I started looking through different artists who I thought made sense and just, finding inspiration in different pieces of art. And I found this dude, Matt Rockefeller, who does children's books and things of that nature. And I'm blown away by his work. Like, that's why when you look at the cover, it looks like a children's book. It looks like a Disney piece.
Yeah.
He does children's books. I reached out to him blindly on an email, told him what I was trying to do. I sent him a picture of the building and I described what we should be doing in the photo. 2 weeks later, he sent me that. And there was no changes, no edits, no nothing. 2 weeks later, I was like, yeah, that's it. When he sent it back, I was like, that's it. We're good. Like, I'm sending the second half of this payment right now. Like, that's it. Yeah.
That's gentrification is something that we're here in Chicago experiencing, mostly like in predominantly Latin Hispanic communities. So and when you talk about that inferior feeling about seeing change emerge, and I know that was happening like in the 90s, early 2000s was Harlem. They were starting to change, and then now you're starting to see it in Brooklyn as well. And it's kind of cool for you, you've spoken about like how you were a child or young when Biggie during the 90s, you would remember seeing Biggie on the block or Biggie being around and being a presence. And you rap about that on St. James Liquor a lot, about like him sort of being there, shooting the video. D-Rock is there, and so you kind of take us back into that space before this evolution of change has now become the model of what, urban communities are looking like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the whole record is about that. And it just came, people have been asking me what inspired it and all that. And for me, I just was fed up, I just was fed up and just was like, man, I'm tired of this. Like, this is my home. You know what I mean? This is my crib. I'm tired of this. And I just wanted to do something about it. And as artists, you have a voice and you have a responsibility to use it. You look at Curtis Mayfield, Gil Scott-Heron, you look at Bill Withers. Those are the three artists that I listened to the most when I was making this album. You know, I didn't sample any of their work on here, but those are the three artists I kind of had on repeat just randomly alongside my typical listening, which is jazz all day. I had a bunch of Gil Scott-Heron, a bunch of, Curtis Mayfield, and a bunch of Bill Withers. And that kind of was seeping in to the way I was approaching making these records. You look at guys like that, they use that voice. It was a responsibility. If these things are happening in the world right now and you don't speak on it to document it or speak about it or push back or celebrate it if it's something great, then how does the next generation know that it was there and that it was important and that it mattered? Like, it's stupid. You have to use that. So the artists who don't use their voice, you see all this stuff going on in the world, be it Black Lives Matter or, Asian Pacific Islanders, whatever it may be, you don't speak on it, then what are you here for? You could have just went and got a job. You could have just worked at the store. Like, it's a responsibility, and I come from that. So this record is all about that because I felt responsible to do that.
Yeah,
I like how you talked about your jazz influences and the soul influences on the record. When did you first sort of fall in love with that music? Was it as a child? How far back does that go?
Oh man, so my pops played jazz all the time. He's more of a smooth jazz guy though. I'm more classical, traditional jazz, Miles Davis, Coltrane, Horace Silver. My dad is more like, Ronnie Jordan, Dave Kaz, Najee, Foreplay, those acts, which are all great. It's all classic music. But anyway, he would play jazz when I was a kid, and we would be in the car when I was 12, 13, and we would be fighting over the radio station because I would want to change it to Hot 97. And we go back and forth with the radio, and then I would be like, man, I literally would say to him, I said, man, this music is stupid. They don't even have any words. And I was always a writer. I was a writer my entire life. You go back to my kindergarten report card. I got A's and A minuses. In English, I got A++. You know what I mean? I was a writer my entire life. So the words is what mattered to me. So, you know, I was like, man, this music is stupid. They don't even have words. And he said, man, one day, Sky, you're gonna love this stupid music. And man, I was in college. I was about 19. And I was watching Mo Better Blues. And it wasn't my first time watching. It might have been my second or third time. And I was watching Mo Better Blues, and it just hit home. And the moment it went off, I think the next day I went and bought a Love Supreme on CD. That was the first jazz thing I bought, Love Supreme on CD. Then I bought Kinda Blue on CD. And that was it. I was done. I was like, yeah, I'm in. Like I was married. I was like, I was in, you know what I mean? Ring on proudly for jazz. Like that was it. And now I listen to more jazz than hip hop. Without a doubt, I listen to way more jazz than hip hop.
About almost a year ago, next week will be the anniversary of your throat surgery that derailed you for about a month, 5 weeks. Talk a little bit about like how scared were you when that happened? Was there any fear that you might lose your career? And then coming out of it, and I'm sure you had to go through some sort of therapy to get the strength in your vocal cords back. Talk a little bit about like what that time period was for you, either emotionally and also the fear of losing your career.
Yeah, the fear was before the surgery. You know, it was, if you don't do it, it's only going to get worse. You know, it's only going to get worse. And when I listen back to like the way I sounded back then, even if it's like a little voice note I did for somebody or a voicemail I left for somebody, something like that, it's night and day. And I'm like, damn, I sounded crazy. Like I really was becoming Miles Davis with my voice. You know what I mean? Like it was really getting bad. But when you live in it in the moment, you don't know it, you know? So, you know, so that was the fear. The fear was before the surgery. Once I agreed to have the surgery, I had faith in it, you know, in the doctors doing it. Down here in Atlanta, they actually have one of the best vocal surgery facilities in the country. So a lot of people come from other cities to get their vocal cord surgery done. So I was comfortable with that. That was a super cool blessing to live in a city where they do that at really well. So I remember the morning of, though, I didn't want to do it again. I was fine up until the morning of. The morning of, I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't want to do this. You know, I remember telling my lady, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. She was like, come on, you got to do it. Like, we're here. You got to do it. And that morning, I was like, I'm not going. I don't want to do it. I don't know why. I just was like, I don't want to do this shit. And but whatever. But I went, and they knocked it out. And I mean, I sound all the way back to 5 years ago. I sound the way I sounded in 2015, 2016, which is amazing. You know, like I'm all the way back to normal. So it was a blessing.
There's a friend of mine who's just had brain surgery. He wanted me to just tell you that you're inspiring him with your recovery. So I know there's people out there who also are dealing with
challenges. To hear that, I'm super honored. Tell him I said thank you, man, and much prayers and love to him, and you know, prayers up on a super speedy recovery, man. I can't even fathom that. I had vocal cord surgery. I mean, that's nowhere near what he's dealing with. So much love to him for sure.
Definitely pass it on. I'm sure he's watching right now too if he has a chance. The funny thing is, like, you had the Magic jersey, the Hardaway jersey, and that was one of the things you dropped from '94. It's like the Magic almost won the chip.
So I'm just painting the scene. You know what I'm saying? I was just painting the scene. I'm talking about '95. You know, you talking about St. James Liquors, 95. I'm 13 years old. I'm just painting the scene of what my world was like. You know, Biggie shit was the Bible, and the Magic had almost won. You know, like that was my world. You know, you had Biggie, you had me being a Penny Hardaway fan. The Magic ran the world. Everybody was a Magic fan because Jordan was retired, so everybody was an Orlando Magic fan because of Penny.
Same here.
They ran it. They sold more jerseys than everybody that year. So, you know, Biggie ran hip hop. Penny and Shaq ran, you know, they ran the NBA, and it was a great time. And then you had people outside on my block getting high and leaning over, you know, in front of the corner store. And then you had the guys who pulled up in the Audis because of those people. And like, I'm just painting this world of what my world was at the time.
So Sam has a basketball question for you.
No. Since we're on the topic of sports, I know that you're a huge New York Knicks fan.
Absolutely.
And since we're doing the show from Chicago, are y'all having D Rose back next year?
I would
We
love
need
to.
to know.
I would absolutely love to. I think he was incredibly instrumental off the bench. I love the fact that he knows his role and he's accepted it, and more than that, he's embraced it. And he was perfect off the bench. There was many a night that he saved us. As great as Julius was, there was many a night that he saved us. I don't think we're in the playoffs if it was. We're in the playoffs. I don't think we're a 4th seed if it wasn't for him. We would have been in the playoffs, but like an 8th seed or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think because of Derrick Rose, we became a 4th seed. So super hats off. Salute to him.
Chicago loves D Rose, so we love to hear it. My last question on the Knicks, and you can decline to answer this question if you feel like it might ban you from going to Knicks games in the future. But did you know about James Dolan's soul country music career?
No, not until a couple years ago when you started hearing like little things about it, like him doing concerts and stuff like that. Nah, I had no idea.
No, we were just watching that video the other day, and I was like, I gotta ask somebody from New York, you know, like how they really feel about James Dolan, man.
It don't bother him making music. Don't bother me as long as he let the team do what they got to do and he keep cutting the checks the way he needs to. He can make whatever music he want to make. You know what I mean? Like that's cool. Like you know what I mean. I'm sure there's a fan base and he got things moving and all that. You know what I'm saying? And it's his passion. You know. My passion, you know, is music, but then also I love basketball. You know, I love jazz. I love cigars. I love, you know, well, not no more because of my voice, but, you know, like whatever. So that's his passion. And he playing that guitar. And if he nice with it and you got the money to fund that, go for it. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel
absolutely.
you, man. I feel you. Knicks in 4 next year for sure.
Hope so. Hope we get I hope we get a roster overhaul. Half the roster. If we could switch half that roster up real nice. But that's a whole nother.
A little added Kawhi and y'all will be straight.
Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. It would be wild, though, if he made them trade 30 picks and then broke out. That would be insane.
I thought he has an opt-out clause in his contract.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent right now.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't know if he was
if he made them trade 30 picks for Paul George and then he broke after 2 years, oh my gosh. You talk about rocking somebody to sleep. Wow. Like that would be insane. We'll know in a month. We'll know free agency and all that is rolling. We'll know in a month.
We'll see. Sky, thank you so much for giving us your time. All the Brilliant Things is out there. Is there any vinyl left? Because I need the vinyl copy.
Yeah, so the first run sold out. I know there's a second run coming, and you know, on the Mellow Music site, you'll be able to order it. I'm sure people are flipping it. Like I'm sure if you go on Discogs, it's probably up for like 5 times as much. Yeah, I wish it was something else I could do. It sold out before the album dropped, which was crazy. Like I remember before the album was released and it was pre-orders for the vinyl. I remember Mellow Music, who distributed the album, put the album out. They hit me like, yeah, we're sold out of vinyl on pre-orders already. And I was like, damn, and people hadn't even heard it yet. Like, it was like 2 singles out. You know what I mean? And it was like, yeah, we're sold out of pre-orders already. Like, the shit's kind of amazing. And I was like, yeah, all right, word. So it's been a while since Heads had a chance to get the vinyl for it. But, yeah, you know, they sent me a box. I got a small box here, you know, so I got a small box and I'm trying to make my way out there this summer to where you guys are at for some gigs and stuff. So, you know, hopefully I'll have some with me and we can figure something out. But I know there's another order coming. I know they're going to do a second run because we already talked about it. So you'll definitely be able to get it. You may not be able to get it today, but you'll definitely be able to get it for sure.
All right, sounds good. We look forward to it. Hopefully, you and Fillmore and Rashid can all get on the same bill. That'd be fantastic.
You know it, man. If I come to Chicago, that's who's going to be with me for sure. That's my family right there.
I love it. Sky, thank you so much for giving us your time here on Weekend at Gabe's. We appreciate it. Give Sky a follow at Skyzoo and also go get the new album, All the Brilliant Things. Thank you for your time again. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all. Hope to see y'all this summer. If I'm out there on stage, man, I need y'all in the crowd.
Oh, we there. 110%.
I'm going to everything I can get my hands on for the last 18 months.
Yeah, we all got time to make up on. You know what I'm saying? We all got to make up for all this lost time that that with COVID and everything. So I will see y'all out there for sure.
All right, just make sure you hold on a copy of that album for me. That's all I ask.
You got it.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, y'all. Peace and love.
All right, Consider joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. All the Brilliant Things is out there, the new album. Go stream it, download it, put it into your life. It's the thing to do, and also it's good for the soul.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head, and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.